You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Nick.
I'm Brooke.
Oh, see, that's...
Always,
No, you're great. I'm enjoying this already. I don't even know your last name, Brooke. I'm sorry.
Brooke Yager.
Brooke?
Yager.
Do you spell it with a J or a Y?
Yager.
I know a somebody that looks exactly like me but isn't named Kyle Farx knows a Yager. For legal purposes, just so we're clear, if I bring up anything and somebody that looks like Kyle Farx, this is Kyle Farx talking, not somebody else.
Yeah, this is not AI.
Yeah.
We're not AI.
It's more so that if I say something and someone was like, in my 9-to-5 life, you know.
Oh, right? No, I didn't know
I've
that.
been doing this for years, literally.
Does your 9 to 5 people listen to this show? I don't think they do.
Actually, yes, it has come up at work before.
Wow.
So
Let's get Kyle canceled.
Cancer?
Damn it.
Is that because of Pam Bondi, just to date the bait?
Yeah.
I give the first question to you, dear brother.
All right, so we had a little bit of conversation before, but on set you said that you did assistant directing and directing. Do you do anything else on set?
So actually, my initial experience was assistant directing. I went to Minneapolis College, and at the time they had two roads you could go. You could go screenwriting, or you can do production. And I did the screenwriting program, and everybody else did the production program. But I was so fortunate enough to be friends with my production partner, who asked me to assistant direct his film, and what that ended up doing was creating a chain of events where I just assistant directed everybody's films, because apparently no one really knew how to do that. So I got really familiar with the people around me and built quite a reputation amongst my classmates to be like the people person of the group. And eventually, over time, I started doing art department. I handmade a lot of props for some of the projects that we're on, like a giant spider head or like a giant eyeball. Or
How many eyes did the spider have?
let's see, I think it was 6. That was a fun thing figuring out.
Did you research spider faces to?
Yeah, there was a specific spider that we looked at. It was like a jumping spider.
Okay.
It was very cute, but it had like these like really big black eyes. And what I did, I had to cut Christmas ornaments in half and spray paint the inside, because we wanted to have the glossy finish on the outside, but that was just the biggest pain in the butt. But then I figured that out, and then eventually that molded more into regular art department stuff, like setting up sets and this and that and this. And it came to a point, because like throughout going to school, they have like certain classes. You have like cinematography, you have directing, you have producing. So the only thing that I've really directed was like a minute film. And I held that really dearly to myself. And eventually my production group wanted to do the next big thing after we graduated, which was a feature film. So we all kind of had this like little deal where if we all pitched the first 15 pages of a script, we'd discuss it and see which film that we would want to produce. And it just so happened to be my film.
Which is?
Her Viscera.
Okay.
It is a... Should I go into that spiel, or should I...
Yeah, you can.
What's your favorite question to ask?
Wait, what's the log line?
Log line?
Yeah.
I said this. I have this... I have these lines in my head, and then I immediately forget it when I need it. It's a pair of movie theater... After a pair of movie theater employees watching an experimental film begin to hallucinate flesh monstrosities, the pair must confront their repressions when one of these creatures begins to talk to them, bidding them to indulge in their deepest shames and desires.
Was that the spider that talks to them?
No.
That was a different project.
That was a different project.
He doesn't like spiders, so that's why I bring that up.
It's not like I don't like spiders. It crashed the set last time we were on, so... Or like a few months
You
ago.
realize you probably eat 8 spiders in your lifetime. You realize, right?
That's a myth. I Googled that. That's them real.
Oh, well, if you Googled it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you went to MCAD. Am I hearing that?
I went to Minneapolis College, so it's Minneapolis Community and Technical College, MCTC.
Oh, you went to MCTC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
that?
I still
Nick?
call it in my head. I know it's called Minneapolis College, and I still in my head think MCTC. But so that's how recently did you finish the program there?
I graduated from that program in 23.
Okay.
Wait, no. It's 26. 24.
Oh,
I
okay.
graduated in 2024.
Okay.
And then I transferred to Metro State,
Oh.
their screenwriting program. And I actually just graduated this spring.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm fresh out of school and straight into probably the most grueling production I'm probably going to face.
Your feature
For a while.
film called Her Viscera.
Yes.
So you are, how close are you, when's production scheduled? Because I did find once I got the title, like just in the brief, very, very brief briefing that I got the title and I found the Seed and Spark page
Oh, wow.
and the proof of concept. Maybe I might have missed part where it said if you're about, like, are you going in production yet, or is it scheduled, or?
Good question. So our scheduled production is October 19th to, I think, it was probably November 20th, 25th. So basically
okay.
5 weeks, 5 day weeks between October and November.
Okay.
Is that the one that Sally Ann and Sebastian are on? You might not
Yes.
know.
Sebastian, yeah, he's officially on as our gaffer. And I think that's also part of our time constraint because they're getting married in the fall.
Yeah.
So we were like, we really want Sebastian, and they get married in like October. So it'd be basically like maybe a couple weeks after that. And then
Wow.
we wanted to finish before Thanksgiving because between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, you're not going to get anybody to be on set. Plus, we're trying to get kind of like a fall look for the film, and by then, it's going to be snowing.
What happens if it snows earlier? Like we get Halloween snow. Everyone in Minnesota, you're too
Well,
young, but you don't know about the
Is
Halloween
it
snow.
just the one location? I imagine it's just being in a theater, right, the whole time?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of it is going to be inside, and kind of our rule of thumb is if anything happens, we'll just work around it. So if there is snow, we'll try to make it look pretty. Snow looks pretty. I like the look of snow, depending where you point the camera, I guess. Just don't look at like the street where all the slush is or whatever.
I got not chastised, but like I haven't told you guys this. I was making a ski movie in college. I was closer to your age, and yeah, sorry. No.
You looking at Nick, or who are you looking at?
When I was closer to my older brother's
Oh,
age,
okay.
I
Call him
constantly
out on
get
it.
closer to his age, but then that sucker keeps getting older. Anyways, we were making a ski movie for a ski hill, and one of the producers was the guy who owned the ski hill. And in watching the movie, he was like, "Well, there's different snow levels in certain scenes, so like that caught my eye." So I was like,
Wow.
"Oh,
Like a continuity
as the
thing?
person, what?
Was it like a continuity thing
Not
issue for
like
him?
a continuity.
Uh-huh.
Like the internal logic was, how do you know it didn't snow? And then there was like it was snowing at 10 that day, and then at 2 it wasn't snowing.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking at if there's snow on the ground, some people might look, well, that's compacted a little bit more because he's in the business of looking at that for his ski hill. I get it.
Why are you looking at the background? Watch the movie.
Don't even his at the time, I believe. What I don't want to like people could figure out who I'm talking about, and I shouldn't. She liked it, and that for me was the better thing. Is that well, she liked it. It's more she's closer to the age demographic, anyways. So I feel your pain. What?
No, I'm just. Is there anywhere we can see it online? That ski movie you made years ago?
Bohemian Bus Stop? Oh yeah, that's easy to find. Sorry. So we're a third of the way into your interview, and I'm gonna peek behind the curtain for everyone. You're the fill-in guest because Ella Thompson was scheduled for this week.
Where'd she go?
Where'd she go? And she's making the movie with you, Her Viscera?
Yes,
What's her
she is
relationship
like
to
our biggest. Like she's our main producer right now. She's done.
She's a small woman. She's not very tall.
But she's big in presence. If you ever met Ella Thompson.
She was actually
Happy as can
the AD
be.
on a series that we created, so
Okay,
that's how
awesome.
we know her.
Oh, awesome.
So
yeah.
we're going to go back and talk about AD stuff, but this I need to understand is how you and Ella know each other.
Yeah, so Ella was a year behind me in school, and just over time, we just worked on more projects, and she was very fascinated with the producing side. Most people in our program weren't. They were like, we'll just do everything last minute, but Ella's very concise, and she plans ahead, and she's been kicking a lot of butt producing for Her Viscera. She does amazing work. She's such a great people person. I think I couldn't be more glad to have anyone else in that role. I feel very in good hands with Ella Thompson.
Okay, and so you guys met in school, and then you mentioned like a cohort or a friend group. How'd you guys form as a cohort, friend group, whatever? It sounds like you were also in different years, which is great.
I think we were very lucky in our class because every other year I heard from MCTC usually just doesn't get along. You know, you just have a lot of just different-minded people, and I think we were just so fortunate enough to have a bunch of people who were just very excited about making film. And so I think naturally we all just kind of connected, and we were just very excited to work on projects. So just throughout time, from familiarity, we just asked each other to be on our projects, and then one thing leads to the next thing, bigger, keeps getting bigger, and eventually we're just kind of like this tight-knit group. And the interesting thing is, our group is split up between several years of alumni from MCTC, and I think a lot of that came from some of us like that are like a year ahead of them looked back at like a year or so like in the classes and were like, "You want to be extras for a film?" And from that they kind of like, "Sure, I'll be an extra and I'll just stand around and do whatever." And from that I think we got a lot of familiarity, and they even learned a lot from, because you know, a year in film school is a drastic difference. So being like what's production 2 is like the second semester, seeing a production 4 project is just phenomenal, because production 2 is you're just running around with the CX350 camera, which is like this wireless, like it's a nice camera, a 4K camera, and you just put it on a tripod, shoot, have like a boom mic or whatever. In production 4 you just have all these nifty gadgets, you have these really nice cameras that you have to actually build, put together, you have jibs and dollies, and it's almost like honestly people are surprised when they see a production 4 set and they're like, "This looks like an actual professional thing." It's like, yes, that's what we're trying to do. And so that's kind of how we recruited some of those previous year or those younger year people, is they just were so invested in so just interested in how we got to that point that eventually they step it up, because they want to be, the whole thing with like filmmaking, especially like locally, is that you need to know a lot of people, especially if you want to get paid to do some of this stuff. Like I myself haven't done a lot of industry work locally because I've been working so hard on producing a feature film, whereas like a lot of people do get these like paid gigs to do like grip and gaffing work, and that's only through knowing people. Like especially like I wouldn't be here today because if I didn't know Ella, and Ella is a great people person, and she put in a lot of work to get really implemented, and that's why she wasn't here, is because she was, you know, ADing or second ADing, I think, for a feature film.
She is, yeah. Yeah,
and that's just like very impressive work. And you see so many people who graduate, and you know, if they don't, you need to really have to feel this craft to be a part of it. And I think that was just the like-minded people eventually just find each other, and we all just care about making movies. And we love it.
There's several things in there that I want to bounce off my older brother who went to MCTC. So, like, you guys didn't get along? What the hell's going on over there?
Back then, it didn't seem like that. There were definitely like the groups that people kind of formed, and like everyone, like I know the last year there, there were 3 main projects that you did, like a 2 or 3 minute thing, and then a 7 minute thing, and then a 12. Well, it was supposed to be 12. Ours was 42 minutes, but who cares? Yes, yeah. For years after, you know, for years and years afterward, I'd talk to other people who were going to MCTC and were being told about the infamous 42-minute capstone that I was involved with. But like, and it was with the same people. Editor.
Oh boy.
Wow. 42 minutes.
Sounds like you fucked up because you should have
No, I got a fucking A on it.
Yeah.
From do you know Mary Amon?
Oh, I love Mary.
Yeah, she gave me an A on it.
Mary who?
Am I saying her name?
Amin? Yeah.
Amin? Okay, no, even because it was shot like The Office, right? And it was a big like mockumentary thing. And we tried a thing where if we don't, let's just do the interviews, let's make it shorter. And she's like, no, that's right, it doesn't work that way. Just go with what you're doing already. And it ended up being 42 minutes long. But yeah, so we had groups that everyone kind of stuck to. It seemed like, but I don't remember anyone back in those days anyway not getting along. But I don't know, the output back then wasn't very. Like we were always like watching the MCAD stuff and like, oh, their stuff's good, our stuff kind of sucks. But now I've seen the last few years, over the last maybe 5 years, the stuff everything I've seen come out of Minneapolis College looks at least as good, if not better, than the equivalent of what MCAD was doing. But you know, something has changed for the better.
They caught up somehow.
Maybe the rivalries make the output better.
I know, like, I think, especially keeping into perspective, like a lot of these people that are going into MCTC right now are people who went to high school during COVID. And there's kind of a socialization kind of factor there. So I can't imagine, you know, you graduate high school after being like asynchronous for most of it, and then you're going to college and you're doing a craft that is, you know, it's a community-based craft that, you know, everybody is a working part in it, and it creates this whole kind of like fleshed out sort of thing. And I think that might be part of it, is that at least our group, was actually a fairly mixed age range, which I think kind of helps. But I know like a lot of like these last year people did like grow up during that period. It's interesting you bring up MCAD, because I have noticed like there's a little bit of a comparison there where it feels like MCAD is more arts oriented, whereas Minneapolis College is like a technical side sort of thing. So we learned very well how to work the cameras and the equipment, and we kind of had to figure out the art side on our own. Whereas I went on a set for MCAD and they had this like amazing set piece and very cool artsy stuff, but they had just like this camcorder and they didn't know how to use like some of the more like bigger equipment, because that just wasn't their focus.
Minneapolis College, you should be advertising on Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. Clearly, I mean, Brooke, you would have found the show eventually because of our growing community in the Upper Midwest.
Well, I was going to suggest if any MCAD people want to be on this show, that'd be great.
Yeah, MCAD. We should know. We should get an MCAD versus MCTC debate. Oh, man. Get a festival to like host it. Just we're throwing this out right now. If one of the two festivals in town that matter wanted to host a debate between the two colleges, just saying that could be
a good fight.
Could be a good community building event, because that's what we care about. Not fights.
Not fights. And I think one of the fun things about like being on sets is you get to see so many people do their best at something they're really good at. So being on that MCAD project, I was like, I need you on my art department for my film. And so that person's set that I was on set for the last film I just directed, which is a short film that's being played in the feature film. So like our characters are watching this film called Robin's Grave, and that's what we just filmed this last fall. And I had Casey, who was one of our art department people, help on that, and they created some of the most fantastic set pieces that, like, while watching it, it's just astounding that we turned a studio space into like a wilderness or like an underworld. It was what we had. We had a graveyard and an underworld and a big nest.
You did three locations in just one studio space?
Yep. So it was just a studio. We the first setup was a graveyard. So our current like art department lead, Mo, for her Viscera, created all these like gravestones, and Casey made made this tree, and we took a bunch of leaves and scattered it across this studio space. It was super awesome, super cool. And then we had like a transitory kind of scene where it took place in a bird's nest. So Casey was probably like a 6-foot wide bird's nest for our character to stand in, and we had like these like broken like this might sound a little dangerous, some like broken vases and stuff like scattered in it. We made sure that she didn't like step on them.
I'm sure you had OSHA look over all this.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very professionally run set, and it was very awesome.
Safety
not
first.
Not stressful at all. And then we had an underworld, which we just strung up like a bunch of like this like Halloween store like spider webs and whatever, and I can't for the life of me remember what material this was, but there's this like really reflective kind of like, we basically took this really reflective like paper, taped it to the ceiling, and our gaffers pointed light at it, and it looked like they were underwater basically.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our underworld. And it was three very distinct locations in that little space.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And that's why I love independent film, is that our biggest thing is, we always want to try something big, and our philosophy is like, if it's written on paper, we're gonna make it. And that proved to be one of the most challenging sets that I've been on, but I think it's been one of the most rewarding as well, because we were able to pull it off, and it looked pretty awesome.
How many hours did you go over, though?
On set?
Like, you had a call time, and then you had a supposed theoretical end time. How many hours past that did you go?
Actually,
Oh.
I think we ended on time. We had to get a pickup shot at some point, which was us just going to our cinematographer's apartment and setting up basically like our underground, but just a small scope. But surprisingly enough, everything was on time, and I think that's just because we have just like such an amazing crew that I don't want to toot anybody's horns, but I mean, they are just like fantastic people, and I don't think I would be as confident about this project going forward knowing, or without them, I don't think I would be as confident. But I feel like I am in good hands, so I definitely feel that I can be as expressive with my writing for this film so that we can create something that actually like has a place in this world, that means something.
What I'll call out based on what, again, I've learned everything about you from this conversation in the 5 minutes before, is that you AD'd on a lot of productions, and anytime someone says they're an AD, because not below the line, but like the non-writer director jobs that the three of us do, DP, sound guy, wanted to be an AC, fucked up, became a sound guy so he could make more money. No, there's a joke.
There's not a lot of sound people.
Yeah.
So he makes a lot more money being a sound guy, and now like my younger brother's a sound guy, my older, but I'm more often an AD, and I have a very specific view of what an AD job is. So I always like asking people, what is an AD, and what are they responsible for on set?
Goodness, to me it feels like it's everything.
Gosh darn.
People management, time management, asset management. So like a lot of it is, moving people, props, time. A lot of the people that I've assistant directed for, I've been close friends with. So, and I have maybe like a closer tie to the script. So sometimes when it comes to like condensing shots and stuff like that, usually I don't try to step on toes, but I usually have a good relationship with the director, DP. And in doing so, we can create a more optimal set. Like I remember one of our summer projects that we did was I think it ended up being like a 26-minute horror short film, and we were filming at a space that we realized was closed the next day, and we basically lost a whole day in our scheduling, and what we did was found a way to make up for it the day that we were shooting. So we were able to fit what we planned for 2 days into 1 day.
The fuck?
Wow, that's
AD
pretty good.
magic.
God bless you.
And and what that does is that pressure breeds a certain sort of innovation that you just can't plan for. Like we're all like running about with our heads cut off because we just lost a whole day. And what we did was we created something that we weren't planning on. And from that, I think that, I don't want to say desperation, but that desperation basically drove us to create something that we ultimately thought was better.
Desperation is the mother of invention or something like that? Is that the
I
phrase?
know that phrase.
And I've been told pressure makes diamonds.
I
know that
know
one.
that's true too. That's straight science right there. Well, like,
That's science.
when I hear technical college, it seems like you'd go for the practical things of like, well, what can I actually teach you? I can teach you how to use the tools. I can't teach no one can teach anyone else art. Art comes from within. Or maybe one of you disagrees with me.
No, I was gonna say like I prefer, back when we were talking about Minneapolis College versus MCAT. I'm like, I would prefer the Minneapolis College thing because you can teach someone how to the foundation of like lighting and how to work a camera. But the idea of teaching someone art, not to like shit on MCAT, but like
no. Those telephone poles look like crosses, so it was really about that character's
well,
salvation.
that was
when you show that one establishing shot. That was from an MCTC class. Wasn't it?
that was the people who maybe belonged at MCAT.
Jeez.
Again, MCAT, come on the show. We want to,
I'm like, the class is 4 fucking hours. Like this would be a 2-hour class, but after watching a 2-hour long like foreign film. And nothing against foreign films, but just like, they're kind of out there, and they're kind of like, people are gonna find things to talk about, and that's why it took 4 hours instead of 2 hours. And it was, telephone poles look like crosses. It must be like a religious message or a theme or something like that.
Do you remember what movie that was? Because I used that reference. That was your reference.
Yeah,
I
think I deliberately blocked it from my memory. But other than the telephone pole thing.
So Brooke, I want to further open the kimono here because the point of this show to me is to screw with my brothers and to grow and build fabric within the community, but more importantly to screw with my brothers. Nick doesn't like when we have younger guests on because he's like, well, what are we going to learn from them? But
He didn't say that. That's not his quote. Yeah,
what was the quote? Okay,
I don't remember. He's right there. He can say himself.
Usually you don't like when we have younger folks on because they haven't done as much versus when we have someone who's directed like 5 features that some have gone on Sci-Fi, not to mention anyone specific. Like there's a difference in the types of guests. Well, to me, sorry.
There's a difference, but I don't think I said like I don't think I said it that way.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
The point I'm trying to get to is that best idea can come from anywhere, and in the sense that what's interesting to me, sitting here with you, who went to MCAT or MCTC, it's called Minneapolis College.
Now it is, yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, they changed their name. They're going as Minneapolis College. Okay,
that's what I mean. This is the name. Maybe it sounds.
Hey, when you changed your name for multiple episodes and segments in a row, I respected it and called you whatever the hell Gregorian was.
Yeah.
So I'm open to whatever changes people. I just need to know that, and I'm going to keep thinking MCTC in my head. But what I've really enjoyed is finding out like what's different and what's changed, even though you both went to the same school about a decade apart.
Well, even like from the couple of years that I've like graduated and left, it sounds like the program's changed even more.
Okay.
Like when Mary retired, which awesome, good for her. She was probably my favorite instructor there. She was phenomenal, and she was one of those people that, even though we were a technical program, allowed you the opportunity to draw that artistic sense out of yourself. Because I think that's maybe the biggest thing that I've learned from going to Metro State is the screenwriting professor, Jeremy Bandow, has really been able to just pull this creative flow out of me. Whereas,
you went to Jeremy?
Yeah.
I know Jeremy.
You know Jeremy? I love Jeremy.
I've drank with Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy and I have been in the same. I know Jeremy because he knew Phil Gilpin out of I got nominated for an award because of Jeremy, and I was pumped.
No, he's been one of my biggest supports for this project, and I have been forever grateful. And it's one of those things is I took the screenwriting program at MCTC, but that really just taught me the structure of screenwriting because that was the first artistic medium that I learned to write with. But then when I went to Metro State, I really pulled the creative side out of it. And I think Jeremy has especially been one of these driving forces that has gotten me to be at the point where I am today. Fantastic instructor, and just overall has been just a very big support of the film.
I'm going to make another accusation of my older brother because this is fun.
Right.
You're a structure guy. You care a lot about
structure guy.
Well, so within a certain reason, like rules exist for a reason, but at the same time, it's I think structure within screenplay can and does exist, kind of like 3-point lighting. But at the same time, You can do it with one light, you can break rules, but you need to understand what you're doing to do that. So I'm interested to hear what your views on structure are, and then to see how my brother reacts to them.
As far as writing goes?
Yeah, as far as screenplay structure, and if it jives with what I think Nick is more orthodox than you and I in his screenwriting beliefs. Do you think that's true?
Well,
you're harder on end product than I believe we are.
Harder on end product for sure. Structure, if it makes sense. I mean, there are things that I think it matters if you're trying to write like a mainstream feature. I think that every rules always matter more depending on what your audience, like if you're wanting to get picked up by, that it matters more. I think it's just like there are things that work that are kind of that's more of a surefire way to build the tension and conflict and just have that sort of like arc to everything. But that doesn't mean you can't break it and still find a different way to accomplish it. But I think that's I think it's satisfying to have going into a climax with a plan. You have your plan that you're going to storm the storming of the castle, and then that plan doesn't work, and then you have to regroup. Those are things. I think those are things we found are satisfying, and that's why we do them. But I don't think there's not other ways you can maybe do the same.
And I think
thing.
Especially from the perspective as learning more about film and watching a lot of different movies from different areas of the world, especially as Western audiences, we are used to a very specific structure, and especially with Hollywood and films, what we were learning a lot at MCTC is how to sell your script, and that's what we learned a little bit more about Metro. But even just going to looking back at older screenplays and how they were written, you can tell by how they are written that they are either planning to sell this or it's already been starting to be produced. And yeah, I mean, the rules are made, and to break them has to be very intentional. And so kind of going with that is it all has its own place, but you kind of have to know the structure and to be able to break those sort of rules. Because otherwise if you're not able to explain it, then it just looks like an accident. And I know, I've been very interested in learning more about, Eastern sort of structures, because because we kind of have, the 3-act structure was this kind of this wavelength, and then it goes, but a lot of it, I don't want to butcher it, but some, Eastern sort of structures kind of, go up, and there's a big incident, and it kind of sends you off. I'm not too familiar with that, because I'm still trying to learn. I kind of have a good grasp on the 3-act structure, especially after having written a feature film. Mm-hmm. And because this stubborn part of my brain is I don't want to make something structured. I want to do something different. But then you're in the car and you're listening to whatever song, your favorite song, and it's all the same structure. You got verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, whatever. And these things are things because they work. And they get you hooked, and that's what we're used to. But there's every once in a while, something you view or listen to gets you a little buzz in your brain. It's why is that so intriguing? And it's because it's so intentionally drawn to subvert what you're supposed to think. And I love a good little piece of subversion, and that can be a very hard thing to do, especially if you don't know what you're trying to subvert.
What's an Eastern story that you've liked recently? I'll give you an example. He and I both saw Nasia 2, and I was in Nasia because it came out during COVID, and picking something that's not Eastern. I like Surat, but I could see the 3-act structure.
Well, how do we know where you get started? How did you get into Eastern screenwriting?
Oh, I just remember seeing in a book that's you think you know everything about screenwriting, but if you go to Asia and Europe, they got so much different shit going on there. And I haven't been able to quite pinpoint what those structures kind of look like, but you can tell while watching certain films that it just is a little bit different. And that very much interests me because like I very enjoy like the social phenomenon around like film as it is as like a political medium or a storytelling medium. Each part of the world creates films differently, and it's, to me, that the concept of that is so fascinating that I wish I could give myself more time in a day to look more into that.
Yeah.
Well, like last night, I saw Stray Dog at the Trilon, which is a Kurosawa film. It was the second Kurosawa film I watched.
Okay.
And Rashomon is, I think, might be a good example, if you guys are familiar, about kind of challenging what Americans think of as like a 3-act story structure, because it is blocked into, it's like one of those first films that pioneered that like different perspectives trope. And that's very interesting, that to think, you watch that in film school, is like, because I personally wasn't really huge on it when I first watched it, but looking back on it, it's like, it is just very fascinating that they did, like, that was done when it was made.
Have you seen Hero with Jet Li from mid-2000s?
Yes, I have. That was one of the films I was supposed to watch. That was another one where it was like, I wasn't too sure how I felt about it, but it did kind of give me this like little buzz in my brain. It's like, there's something about this that's pretty cool. And I didn't go back to pinpoint it, but that is one that I remember very clearly out of all the films that we watched.
Similar to Rashomon in terms of the different perspective and being from an Eastern philosophy point of view. I'm sure there's something to the idea of like Eastern medicine being different from Western medicine. Like, we fix problems, whereas no, we care about your whole life, and kind of, I don't know if that you can wholly apply that to the way stories are told, but like, you have civilizations that have existed for, millennia, whereas ours, Western, what we think of Western, has existed for maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking like it's probably not that much different from like different cultures are gonna like they have their different foods and their different musics and we're used to 4 beats per measure music here, but that's totally out the window. You listen to other music and it's like they probably respond to story beats totally differently. Then like the ride that they want to be taken on is probably totally different in the same way that the food and the music and everything is different.
I was going to say that because I watched recently Tampopo.
Oh,
if any of you are familiar with that, it's just a film about people making ramen.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And it's awesome. It's super cool, and the way you talked about food is very reminiscent in that film, where the way that film is shot and the way that it talks about food is so hand in hand. It, as like an American viewer, I can't help but just marvel at how different that feels. Because like, can you imagine a Hollywood film about someone making ramen? Or like, I mean, I guess you've seen films about Americans making cheeseburgers, but it's not saying I love cheeseburgers because it's a social phenomenon. It's just like, here's this guy that cooks cheeseburgers and he's mean or something like that.
What do you want to talk more about her Viscera? Any other details you want to give out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd love to. So her Viscera is a queer coming of identity film, largely based off of my recent transition. That's been something that has been a very big part, especially in going to film school, has been a very remarkable thing, is that for the life of me, like my entire life, I lived in conservative areas and I just like wasn't exposed to queerness. I wasn't even like, I remember there was one of my classmates in high school that was trans as well. And for some reason in my brain, I was just like, oh, I didn't know like that was really even a thing. Like you see stuff online and there's always this echo chamber that you're used to for media. And so this recent going to film school has exposed me to a lot of queer people and diverse mindsets. And that really inspired me to come out of my shell and become the person that I am. And I think that also expressed itself artistically. And her Viscera was this almost like therapy session of writing down all these feelings that I felt over the last few years of repression and learning to express myself in a very visceral matter. It is because it's largely discussing that disconnect between what you're supposed to believe and how you feel when it comes to accepting yourself and allowing outside forces to not have as much influence on you. And one of the biggest things that also influenced me was, I remember early in my transition, I was closeted, didn't tell anybody, and I saw I've been hearing a buzz about this movie called I Saw the TV Glow. And
I love that movie.
I saw it early at the Alamo by myself, completely closeted, and my life was changed. To see that sort of representation on screen, to see things that was literally talking to me, basically, to see that be expressed through film was like nothing else in this world to me. And I couldn't help but, I know what I've felt over the last few years. If I write my story in my own way, like I'm not like verbatim writing down, because I don't see flesh monsters, not usually. They don't talk to me.
Like from I Saw the TV Glow?
No,
Flesh
from the
monsters.
teacher. Yeah, the
I was gonna say,
teacher.
there weren't any
Yeah.
flesh monsters in there. I remember the TV show.
Which I'm sure Jane Shunrun also didn't like get transported into like a movie or is from like a TV show or whatever. But I know exactly what I went through, that if I created something that was about that, someone else, at least one person would say, hey, that's what I feel too. Because that's how I felt watching that film. And I think that's what's so important about filmmaking, is that it is one of those mediums that, like, some of my friends saw that film and was like, it was great. I don't really like connect with it. That's totally fine. And I think that's what's so wonderful about film. And I hope that through my film, I can talk to people and show them on screen. That's also like the other aspect about the film, is about representation. And it sounds like it's this word that's thrown around, but to see yourself on screen when you don't even really know who you are is such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think that could be really inspiring for other people to see that and make their own films if they want to too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
that'd be
that's
great.
and isn't that just a wonderful thing?
Right.
This thing inspires this thing, that inspires this thing, and that's with art. It's so fun to go back and seeing, I like this person, let's see their influences. Oh, I like them, let's see their influences. And just seeing how everything is connected, is we create stuff to inspire each other. Because at the heart of, I feel like, a lot of art that I love, it's about love, either for the self, for others, for the world. And we just need more love going around.
Yeah, I think that's a great message. Well, our last question of the night is, who would you recommend we ask to be on this show?
That's a good question. Well, if you can, I'd ask Ella Thompson again.
I assume she'll come on at some point now.
Golly.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I'd say Ella Thompson for sure. If you haven't asked Jeremy Bandow.
Oh, this is a good reason to ask Jeremy.
Yeah. I'd
This is
say.
a good reason to ask Jeremy. Jeremy, we're going to ask you. I'll send him this.
Yeah.
That's all.
Jeremy has a lot of great insights about writing, and to me, he makes writing exciting. Which, in my original schooling, it was, this thing that I was doing that I had to do. But he just made it just so fun. And that's what we want, is to be able to capture what's inside us, but to be able to enjoy it and not, you don't have to tear it out of yourself. You just have to let it flow. And I think Jeremy, he's just able to pull that out. And I think he has a lot of great insights about film, and even being because he does a lot of producing stuff, and he does his own writing. And I think even I would like to sit down and just pick his mind even more. And I've had him as an instructor for the last 2 years. And he's just a very fun guy.
That is a great recommendation. Yeah. Thank you. There was a bunch of questions I didn't ask. Can I just rapid fire them out?
Yeah, I mean,
Taylor's
in here, so yeah, we can
Taylor's
keep
in
going.
here. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, the debate with Movie Man T already happened, and then he chose to leave to be respectful of the interview. The questions that come to, one of the questions I typically ask early on is, where are you from? So when you're like, I'm from a conservative place, so, I just assumed you were from Minnesota.
Yeah,
and kind of went with that.
I'm from Minnesota. Yeah. I've lived in Minnesota my entire life. I live in so I grew up in Monticello, which is about an hour
Yeah.
west of the cities.
Okay.
So it's not like crazy, but it's also one of those things where.
Dude, you're past Hutch. You're out there, right?
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean,
Hutchinson.
when my
People from Hutchinson call it Hutch.
when my
I know.
friends come out to like my place every once in a while, they call it Brook Country because it just seems so different to them. And even like with the recent stuff that's happened in Minneapolis here, I had to move back to my parents' place, and it's just so fascinating because what's
You didn't
happening.
move because of ICE?
No. I had to move for different reasons.
Oh, okay.
But moving back to my parents' place, while all that's been happening, it's like it doesn't seem like anything is happening there.
Well, you might have had to move because of economic reasons caused by ICE. Like, we don't know.
I mean, that's just a cascading of a bunch of events. I
don't want to get in because I have other questions related to the kind of the things you were just talking about. But just so we're clear, right or blue doesn't matter. The federal government came here and screwed up our small city. Just so we're clear about that. I could be coded as a conservative, so I just want to, what does queerness mean to you? And there's a reason I'm asking this. I have a very specific, because I want to go back to talking about, I saw the TV Glow. I have very specific, you haven't seen it, you have seen it, you haven't seen it.
I've not seen it.
And I have a very specific theory on that movie, and I'm going to get there.
That's a wonderful question. And I think queerness it's almost this intangible thing. I mean, yeah, it's, a concept, but it's like I can't even grasp onto it. To me, queerness is who I am. This is like, I went most of my life not thinking about who I am and identity. Like, I was a man and I do this and I do that. But now it's like this living, breathing thing in me. Like, it's almost like equivalent to like happiness. It's like an emotion. Like, it's something that I breathe and I live. Queerness has been to me about love, self-love, loving other people, learning that the world and people are just amazing and beautiful. And yes, terrible things happen, but through queerness, I see the love in the world. And that's something I very dearly want to hold on to. And like, especially with TV Glow, like, seeing queerness on the screen is this idea of loving yourself and not being afraid of who you are. Because I know for the life, during that closeted period of mine, I was afraid. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on with myself. I didn't even know that's what I was for a while. All through high school, I was diagnosed with depression, but I didn't realize the root of that is because I was not who I am. My body was producing hormones that wasn't aligned with how my brain was thinking. Okay. I think queerness is finding that alignment of mind and body and learning to love regardless of what's out here.
Well, then anyone could be queer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everyone's a little queer.
Well, yeah, that's kind of my theory, and I saw the TV Glow is like... Yeah. Well, it's kind of so. I might know something about sales from a corporate perspective. Okay. So when I hear queer film, I'm always like, don't limit the audience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because when I saw the TV Glow, or when I saw the movie, I saw the TV Glow. I would not like. I'm straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids are in there, anyways. But I still related to it because it's like, oh man, this sense of identity that you're grafting onto an external source because you don't have a solid, connection to who you are or who you want to be, maybe. And that's universal. So I sometimes, me as a salesperson liking people who are queer and wanting them to succeed, go, don't do that. Don't confuse the normals.
What does that mean? Don't confuse the normals.
The normies. We talk about it all the time. If you're listening to the show, you're not normal.
In this context, what do you mean when you're saying confuse the normies?
Well, so I'm trying to think of how I would sell I Love the TV Glow to someone like my mom, who is a straight woman, and I think happy to be so. She grew up blonde, tall, and thin. Good for her.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Congratulations.
it's not an insult to my mom, I don't think. I'm not biologically related to her because I'm adopted, so maybe I have identity issues that... That's how I feel about
right
that.
here tonight.
But no, I don't. But like, I do think that she would have an in to this movie to be like, hey, Mom, you'll be able to kind of understand how I feel towards a lot of like movies and TV because like all of us in this room are clearly have weird attachments to, you know, things that are external to us, but we found something of ourselves in. And so, I don't know.
Well, you can say that about almost anything, though. I mean, Nick isn't a fan of John Wick, but we can watch John Wick. Anybody can watch John Wick. I think anybody can watch. I saw
Nick
TV
likes
Club.
murder and violence. We just have to position him in the right time for the murder and violence.
Already around.
But you can sell almost anything. I don't think they're minimizing that at all. I think it's fine for them to, you know, have a group of people they want to target. That's fine. That's how things work.
Much like the movie Godzilla 2000. And I'm going to bastardize a line from that movie.
Godzilla 2000.
Yeah, just let me
Broderick?
let me cook. Let me cook.
All right.
Okay. So there's a little queer person inside all of us, like Brooke just said. The line in the movie is there's a little Godzilla inside all of us. But, you know.
Wow.
Wait, are we still allowed to make that joke? Doesn't matter. Sorry, cancel Kyle, you know. Should make cancel Kyle like a hashtag.
Hashtag. All right. Hashtag cancel Kyle.
I fucked up your interview just now, but
No, that's awesome. I actually kind of like that. I'm feeling a little Godzilla today.
Nice.
we all have a little Godzilla inside all of us. When I say that, just know that I am trying to express love to all peoples.
I think Godzilla could be a queer icon. We just
Yeah,
haven't.
maybe.
He just hasn't found it yet.
Well, he's clearly thick.
I mean,
2 C's.
he goes through a lot of colors. He's pink the last time we saw him, right? Godzilla. He's pink now.
That's one more
And he
color of
was
the rainbow.
blue, and then
Wait, no,
he
it's
was
not.
something else.
Where did you see Pink Godzilla?
What is X Kong? The New Empire or whatever?
At the end of I've watched that movie like 3 times,
He's
which is
pink.
embarrassing.
His scales turned pink.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know the part that he turned pink. Remember that?
Yeah, don't you remember?
Recently, someone called it homophobic that Palpatine, and I know you're not a Star Wars person, shoots blue and white light instead of the purple light like he shot in Return of the Jedi in Rise of Skywalker. So somehow Palpatine returned and then shot.
Somehow he changes lightning.
They changed.
Could be
his
an
light.
age thing. I don't know. Maybe age changes
Oh,
your
you guys
light.
are like,
He needs some. Palpatine clearly needed some purple chew to get that Force lightning out better.
Oh,
I'm gonna hand it to you.
all right. I don't know how to end that, but okay. I guess we're ending it there. Well, Brooke, thank you for joining us. I think that went off the rails, but I think that was great.
it was a very lovely
Yeah.
time. Thank you. A lot of
Lovely.
great questions. I was really good talking about all that.
Yeah. All right. Catch you guys next time. Bye. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.